The trailer for Season 3, Episode 9 of The Summer I Turned Pretty arrives like a wave that carries both excitement and dread. From the first moment, there is a heavy feeling that this chapter will not be just another episode. Instead, it feels like a turning point, a moment where every choice and every emotion built throughout the season begins to collide. The tone of the trailer is layered, romantic in flashes, tense in silences, and bittersweet in the way it lingers on the characters who have grown so much, yet are still trapped in their own hearts. It's the kind of trailer that doesn't need to shout to make an impact. It simply breathes tension into every second, leaving fans restless and eager to know what happens next. What stands out immediately is the balance between beauty and unease. On the surface, there are glimpses of warmth, laughter, and connections that feel deep and true. But beneath that surface lies the shadow of conflict, of heartbreak waiting to unfold. This balance is exactly what gives the trailer its power. It is not only about romance, but about the fragile nature of happiness when the end of summer looms so close. Every frame seems to whisper that joy can vanish in an instant, and that every smile could carry the weight of an unspoken goodbye. Episode 9 is close to the end of the season, and the trailer captures that energy. It feels like the calm before the storm, a chapter that draws the characters closer together, while at the same time preparing to tear them apart. The pacing is slow but deliberate, each moment stretched out to remind viewers that these are not casual scenes, but emotional milestones. The trailer doesn't give away the full story, but it makes one thing clear. Episode 9 will be remembered as the beginning of the end, the episode where the stakes rise higher than ever. Fans who watch the trailer will feel the pull of nostalgia, as if every moment is already slipping into memory even before it has happened. The sunlit tones, the soft pauses, and the quiet intensity of the looks exchanged all serve as reminders that summer is ending, and with it, the time for choices is running out. This sense of urgency is what sets Episode 9 apart. It is not about endless possibilities anymore. It is about decisions that cannot be delayed any longer. The trailer makes this tension visible without words, leaving it to the audience to imagine how those choices will unfold. In the end, the first impression left by the trailer is simple yet powerful. Episode 9 will not be about small steps. It will be about leaps, about moments that push characters beyond their comfort, and about emotions that can no longer be hidden. Romance is promised, yes, but it is romance with an edge, romance that carries the weight of everything that has come before. And as fans prepare for this episode, they know one thing for sure. The story is about to change, and nothing will be the same after. At the heart of Episode 9 is Belly, and the trailer makes it clear that her emotional journey will define this chapter. She is no longer the carefree girl from earlier summers. She is someone shaped by choices, regrets, and the realization that love is never as simple as it once felt. The weight she carries is visible in the way the trailer presents her. Not just as a girl in love, but as a young woman standing at the edge of decisions that will change everything. Episode 9 feels like the episode where Belly must finally confront the feelings she has been running from all season. Her struggle is not new, but in this chapter, it feels heavier, sharper, and impossible to ignore. Belly is torn between the comfort of what feels safe and the pull of what feels undeniable. Every relationship around her reflects a different piece of her heart, and the trailer hints at how hard it is for her to let go of any of them. She is haunted by memories of past summers, by laughter and tears that never truly fade, and by the possibility of what her future might look like if she makes the wrong choice. This conflict gives the trailer its emotional depth. It is not just about who Belly loves, but about who she becomes when she finally decides. Episode 9 positions Belly as both strong and vulnerable. She is strong because she is still standing, still willing to face her feelings, and still open to love despite the pain it has caused her. Yet, she is vulnerable because her heart is exposed, and no matter what she chooses, someone will be hurt. The trailer captures this duality beautifully. One moment she seems certain, her face glowing with clarity, and the next, she is lost again, overwhelmed by the fear of hurting others and herself. This back-and-forth struggle makes her journey relatable. because love is rarely simple, and choices of the heart are never without cost. The most striking thing about Belly's arc in the trailer is the sense that she can no longer delay. Time has run out, and her emotions can no longer stay hidden in shadows. The trailer shows glimpses of her searching, of her pausing to feel everything, and of her realizing that her silence has consequences. Episode 9 will not allow her to remain neutral. It forces her into action, and that is why her journey feels so important here. Because this is not about avoiding pain, but about accepting it in order to move forward. By focusing on Belly, the trailer makes Episode 9 deeply personal. It is not just about a love triangle or about romance. It is about one girl standing in the middle of her own storm, deciding who she is and who she wants to become. That vulnerability is what makes this chapter so gripping. Fans will watch not only to see whom she chooses, but to see how she changes through the act of choosing. Her emotional journey is the heart of Episode 9, and it is what will leave viewers holding their breath until the very last moment. The trailer for Episode 9 leans heavily into the romantic tension that has always been at the heart of The Summer I Turned Pretty. By this point in the season, the love triangle between Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah is no longer just a playful question of who she might choose. It has become a storm that affects not only her, but also the two brothers whose lives are deeply tied to her decisions. Episode 9 feels like the moment where this triangle stops being background tension and instead takes center stage with full force. The trailer makes it impossible to ignore that the stakes are higher than ever. From the very first glimpse, the emotions between Belly and Conrad feel more raw than before. There is history in every look they share, an unspoken bond that has been built over years of summers, heartbreaks, and near confessions. Conrad carries his feelings with the kind of quiet intensity that fans know well. He doesn't need many words to show what is in his heart, because his silence often speaks louder. In Episode 9, the trailer hints at that silence breaking, at moments where Conrad may finally risk everything to make his feelings clear. For many fans, this is the confession they've been waiting for, but the trailer also makes it clear that timing will not make things easy. On the other hand, Jeremiah brings a completely different energy. Where Conrad is restrained and cautious, Jeremiah is open, warm, and determined not to hide what he feels. His love for Belly has always been more visible, expressed in gestures, smiles, and a kind of unwavering loyalty. The trailer shows him as someone who refuses to step back, even as he senses the weight of Conrad's connection with Belly. Episode 9 may show Jeremiah at his most vulnerable yet, fighting for a love that he knows is not guaranteed. The tension in the trailer is not only about who Belly might choose, but about the risk of losing the deep brotherly bond that has always been central to the story. What makes this love triangle so powerful in Episode 9 is the fact that it is not built on cliches or surface-level attraction. Instead, it is layered with years of shared memories, pain, and sacrifice. Both Conrad and Jeremiah love Belly in their own ways, and both of them have grown through that love. The trailer suggests that Episode 9 will test those feelings to the breaking point. There are flashes of closeness, glimpses of confrontation, and pauses filled with emotions that cannot be spoken out loud. This is not just a simple question of who will she choose. It is a deeper, harder truth that no matter what happens, someone will walk away with a broken heart. The beauty of the trailer is how it shows romance as something both breathtaking and painful. There are moments that promise sweetness, the kind of romance fans have always loved in this series, but they are undercut by the looming sense of loss. Every tender gesture seems to carry the shadow of what it might cost. Belly's laughter with Jeremiah feels real, but it also feels fragile. Conrad's quiet stares carry hope, but they also carry fear. Episode 9 is not about light-hearted crushes anymore. It is about love in its most complicated form, love that demands sacrifices, and love that will shape these characters long after summer ends. For fans watching, the trailer plants a seed of anticipation that Episode 9 might finally give answers. It teases the possibility that Belly's heart may lean decisively in one direction, even if the cost of that choice is heartbreak for another. But at the same time, it doesn't reveal enough to make anything certain. That uncertainty is exactly why the love triangle remains so gripping. It is not only about resolution, it is about the emotional journey toward that resolution, a journey filled with longing, jealousy, hope, and heartbreak. In the end, the romantic tension of episode 9 is what will keep fans glued to the screen. The trailer builds it carefully, showing just enough to remind viewers why they care so deeply about these characters and their relationships. It promises passion, it promises conflict, and it promises a turning point in a story that has always thrived on the complexity of love. And as viewers wait for episode 9, they are left wondering not only who Belly will choose, but also what that choice will mean for the brothers, for her, and for the summer that is quickly slipping away. One of the most striking elements in the trailer for episode 9 is that it doesn't only focus on romance. It reminds us that The Summer I Turned Pretty has always been about more than just who Belly will choose. At its core, it is also a story about family, about friendships that have lasted for years, and about the conflicts that can shake even the closest bonds. Episode 9 seems to dig deeper into those layers, showing that the decisions Belly and the brothers make are not happening in isolation. Every choice sends ripples through their families and through the relationships that have defined their summers. The Fisher family has always been at the heart of this story, and the trailer hints at new challenges for them. Their home, their memories, and their bonds have been tested again and again throughout the series. In episode 9, we see a sense of heaviness in the way they interact. The Fisher brothers are not only dealing with their feelings for Belly, but also with the fear of losing what has tied them together for so long. The trailer suggests that unresolved family struggles will return, adding even more weight to their decisions. It feels like the story is saying that love does not exist apart from family, it is tangled within it. For Belly, family conflict plays out differently. Her connection to her own family has shaped her choices from the very beginning. Episode 9 appears to show her trying to balance the pull of romance with the responsibilities she feels toward the people closest to her. The trailer hints at moments of tension where she questions herself, not only as someone in love, but also as a daughter, a friend, and a young woman who is still learning who she is. There is a sense that her family's expectations and her own hopes may not always align, and episode 9 could force her to face those differences directly. Friendship is another theme the trailer refuses to ignore. Belly's friendships have often been the grounding force in her life, giving her comfort when romance feels too heavy. But in episode 9, those friendships appear strained. Trust, honesty, and loyalty all seem to be tested. The trailer suggests that when love triangles pull people apart, friendship is often the first thing to suffer. What was once easy and fun now feels complicated and fragile. For viewers who have grown to love Belly's circle of friends, episode 9 might bring the painful realization that not every bond can survive untouched. Conflict is everywhere in the trailer, not loud, explosive conflict, but the quiet kind that eats away at relationships. There are glimpses of arguments that are not fully spoken, silences that are heavier than words, and looks that say more than dialogue ever could. This kind of conflict feels real because it mirrors the struggles of growing up. Episode 9 seems to capture that messy reality where love, friendship, and family overlap in ways that are difficult to untangle. The trailer doesn't show shouting matches or dramatic betrayals. It shows the quieter kind of heartbreak, the kind that comes when people you love start pulling in different directions. What makes this section of the trailer powerful is the way it builds tension without giving full answers. We see enough to understand that episode 9 will not just be about Belly's romantic choice. It will also be about whether these characters can hold on to their families and friendships while navigating love. The audience is left wondering, will the Fisher brothers lose each other over Belly? Will Belly's friendships survive the strain of her love triangle? Will family bonds break under the pressure of unspoken pain? By focusing on these questions, the trailer makes episode 9 feel larger than just a love story. It turns it into a story about the connections that define us, the ones that shape who we are even more than romance. The conflicts are not simply about jealousy or misunderstanding, they are about identity, belonging, and the fear of losing people who feel like home. As the episode approaches, viewers are left with the sense that episode 9 could be a turning point, not only for Belly's love life, but also for the relationships that have carried her through every summer. It feels like the calm before a storm, where unresolved family tensions and fragile friendships could break open at any moment. That weight makes the romance feel even more urgent, because the love story is now intertwined with the risk of losing so much more. In that way, the trailer promises an episode that is both emotional and unforgettable, one that tests every connection these characters hold dear. The most unforgettable part of the episode 9 trailer is the way it ends, leaving us with more questions than answers. It doesn't tie things together neatly, but instead leaves the story hanging at a point where the tension is at its peak. For fans who have followed every step of Belly's journey, this cliffhanger is exactly the kind of emotional push that keeps them waiting anxiously for the next episode. Episode 9 is being built up as the bridge between the romance, the heartbreak, and the final showdown that will arrive in episode 10. The trailer gives us just enough to feel the pressure building, but not enough to know how it will all break apart or come together. One of the clearest signals of the cliffhanger is the way Belly's emotions are shown at the end. She looks caught between decisions, her heart torn in two directions, and her future hanging in the balance. The trailer makes it clear that she can't put off choosing forever. Episode 9 feels like the moment where every path she has walked collides. Her love for one brother, her history with the other, her loyalty to her family, and her fear of losing everything all at once. This cliffhanger suggests that episode 9 will not give her peace, but instead will push her to the very edge of her emotional limits. The Fisher brothers are also at the center of this tension. The trailer suggests a moment of confrontation is coming, where the love triangle can no longer be avoided. Their bond as brothers has been tested many times, but in episode 9, it looks like they are finally forced to face the truth. The cliffhanger teases that they may stand on opposite sides in a way that feels impossible to mend. Will they be able to come back from it? Or will episode 9 set them on a path that changes their relationship forever? The trailer refuses to answer, instead leaving viewers clinging to every second of this unresolved storm. Another part of the cliffhanger lies in the unspoken secrets hinted at throughout the season. Episode 9 seems ready to pull at those threads, reminding us that not everything has been revealed yet. There are still truths waiting to come to light, and the trailer teases that one of them may finally surface, shocking not just the characters, but the audience as well. The brilliance of this teaser is that it doesn't show exactly what the secret is, only that something important is on the horizon. It is a reminder that the final stretch of the season is not just about romance, it is also about discovery and revelation. The pacing of the trailer is what makes the cliffhanger even more intense. It begins with a slow, emotional rhythm, then builds with every glance, every line of dialogue, and every dramatic pause. By the time it ends, the tension is stretched so tightly that it feels like one small moment in episode 9 could break everything open. The cliffhanger is not about action or shock value, it is about emotional weight, the feeling that the characters are standing on the edge of something massive with no way back. What's next is the big question on every fan's mind. The trailer suggests that episode 10 will not just be another chapter, but the explosive conclusion to the season. By leaving episode 9 on such a cliffhanger, the show is promising that the finale will deliver answers to the questions fans have been holding on to all season. Who will Belly choose? Can the brothers survive the fallout? Will friendships and families heal, or will they fracture forever? And perhaps most importantly, will love be strong enough to survive the pain it has caused? The trailer knows exactly how to keep viewers hooked. By ending on unresolved emotions, heightened tension, and the weight of unspoken truths, it guarantees that fans will be desperate to see what happens next. Episode 9 doesn't just set up the finale, it makes it feel urgent, inevitable, and deeply personal. This is not just about a summer romance anymore. It is about the end of innocence, the growth that comes with heartbreak, and the choices that define who these characters truly are. For fans watching the trailer, the cliffhanger is both thrilling and agonizing. It is thrilling because it promises drama, romance, and revelations like never before. It is agonizing because it refuses to tell us how it all ends. And that is exactly the point. The wait, the suspense, the emotional investment is what makes this series unforgettable. Episode 9 is not the end, but it is the moment where everything changes.